Ms. Marsh, you and your mom have demanded the defendant, Mr. Reed, appear in court today because you say he denies your 1-year-old daughter, Tamari, only when you deny his desire to have a relationship with you. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Reed, you claim that Ms. Marsh has confessed to you that you may not be Tamari's biological father, and you believe she's trying to trap you into a relationship with her. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Marsh, are you using baby Tamari to trap Mr. Reed?
Mr. Reed knows me and him are not going to be in a relationship. I've moved on since Mr. Reed. I just want him to take care of Tamari.
And so, Mr. Reed, you say you don't believe Tamari, oh, she's so adorable, is your biological child. You don't believe that?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
Where'd you meet?
We met in Columbus, Ohio, but I lived in California.
Okay.
I had just turned 18.
Okay, so you met in Columbus, Ohio?
Yes.
So you all started dating?
No.
I
flew back to California.
It was a long-distance relationship, Your Honor.
So you were in a long-distance relationship online?
Yes, Your Honor.
So at what point does this relationship turn into a sexual, physical relationship?
When I relocated to Columbus for work.
Your Honor, Torrance wrote me on Facebook telling me that he was coming for me, like coming to be in a relationship with me. And then when he get there, everything
Honor,
was going good. He was acting like he was mad because I had 2 kids before him.
That was before she had the other. That was before she had her other child.
Why did he? My granddaughter's third or fourth birthday.
He did my
Your whole
daughter's
birthday. The shopping,
everything.
the birthday party.
Spent $1,000 on toys, and then spent another $1,000 on her birthday
what
party.
man does that?
Me.
So wait a minute. You threw a birthday party
I love children.
for her older child.
I love children, so I threw a birthday party for her oldest daughter. Yes.
All right. So, in your mind, was this a relationship, or was
She knew I was dating other women.
I never knew he was dating other women. On Torrance's birthday, he asked me to go on a trip with him to a resort with his family. When we get to Missouri, 2 women pop up at the hotel room, and he said, "This is my wife." And I said, "It's over."
Your Honor, on the way to the...
What?
Your Honor, on the way...
Hold on now.
I told her I was taking her to meet my wife. I was planning on... I'm a Muslim, so I was planning on having 4 wives, and
He's a fake Muslim. He's a wannabe Muslim.
Well, let me understand this. Ms. Marsh, man you've been dating and seeing, relocated to your town, says, we're dating, I want to take you on a vacation.
Yeah.
We have a timeshare in Missouri.
It doesn't matter what it is.
And so you get to Missouri, and he says, let me introduce you to my wife?
Or did I say that before we got to Missouri?
No.
I didn't tell you before we got to Missouri.
Wait a minute. I have never heard of a man taking a woman on vacation to meet their wife.
Exactly. And then when we got there, Your Honor, the girl, they was asking me, like, how do you know him? I'm like, how do you know him? She just met him.
The wife?
Yes.
She was a prospect.
He's
just like
prospect.
Danielle was.
I said, you know what?
No
I want to go
respect.
back home. I have people in St. Louis that could take me home. He said, you're not going nowhere.
The reason I got upset is because her and the other person ruined my birthday. They ruined my birthday.
Mr. Reed, you ruined your own birthday.
You ruined your birthday.
Mr. Reed.
You ruined my birthday.
No, you ruined your birthday.
I just wanted to go home.
Probably so, bringing them.
Ain't nobody ruined your birthday but you.
Mr. Reed.
I should have went myself.
So wait a minute. How far into this relationship did this happen?
He was down there for a month.
And then this happened?
Yeah.
In your mind, was this your boyfriend?
Yes. In my mind, it was my boyfriend.
We've been
talking about being with each other. We've been talking about being with each other since I was 18,
because she got upset at me because I was down there 2 weeks before I even seen her.
He telling me he loved me and all kinds of stuff. He want to get married. I didn't know nothing about him wanting 4 wives.
Really?
I didn't.
Really? Come on, Miss Marsh. Cut it out.
It's your testimony. You informed her of your desire.
Yes, it is. My mother even said it. She was like, when my mother addressed her, she's like, Miss Marsh, my son told you. You knew my son was wanted 4 wives.
I told his
mother. Christian.
No, Your Honor,
his mother supposed to be a Christian.
No, my mother's a Baptist.
Okay, listen.
Wow, you got your...
Let Miss Marsh testify. Go ahead.
His mom, we were downtown talking, and his mom was like, I thought he told you that he wanted 4 wives. I said, no, your son didn't tell me. He tricked me. So it's a difference.
Your
I didn't
Honor,
know about no
Your
other
Honor,
wives until I got to St.
Your Honor,
Louis.
how could I trick a grown woman?
Ms. Walker, was it your understanding Mr. Reed was your daughter's boyfriend at that time?
Yes.
You thought your daughter was dating a man, he seemed to be a nice man, he gave the birthday party for the older child?
I mean, he came on to be a very nice person. I didn't see the other side of him until she announced that she was pregnant. I didn't see her, because he came on to be a very nice, strong person.
And Miss Marsh, your tears right now, what are you feeling? You just feel...
Because, like, I've been knowing him since I was 18, and this really hurt. This hurt. And then he want to go travel state to state to have different babies and find another wife, and he get these women involved, and they write me. They tell me what he tells them. His mom tells me what he tells them. Like, he got everybody thinking something different when he in love with me.
So what happened when you found out you were pregnant? Tell the court.
So I found out I was pregnant. I called Mr. Reed because I felt sick. So we went to the store, got a whole bunch of pregnancy tests. Then we went to the pregnancy center, we got an ultrasound. And then later on, he had left to go console a girl in California that was having a miscarriage.
You knew this?
I knew afterwards.
She knew the young lady was down there in Columbus, Ohio, when I was down there.
Actually, no, I didn't know. Okay, so me and him continued our relationship from after his birthday because he did all this apologizing. I'm young, like, okay, you spoiling me, you telling me what I want to hear. So Mr. Reed was driving a nice car. So the police pulled us over. That's when I found out about the other lady.
Because what happened?
He told them his address and he said he lived with his girlfriend.
Okay. And how old are you?
I just turned 26 last month.
And how old are you, Mr. Reed?
I'm 40.
Okay. So you done come and got this young girl. You sold her a whole bunch of dreams.
I didn't sell her nothing.
And I believe...
She's steady talking about what I'm doing, but she have numerous men. Yes, you do.
Are you serious?
Yes,
Come
you
on
do.
now. Come on now.
Man.
Don't do that,
Really?
baby. Don't do that, baby.
You didn't have a dude you didn't have a man when I came to Columbus?
Your Honor, me and the guy, we had broke up 2 months prior to him coming down there. I broke up with him for Torrance.
That's what she claims.
Mr. Reed.
That's what she claims.
I've been wanting to be with him since I was 18.
But she steady texting them and called them, and they steady
I steady
drama
texting and calling. I never was texting and calling him. We met him at the BMV, and that was the last time you heard of him.
Yeah.
But wait, what I don't understand is the baby's just a year old.
Exactly.
You saying you met him when you was 18?
Yeah.
So you've been running around with this, dealing with this for all these years?
No, Your Honor,
I didn't know it was like this.
I never stayed in Ohio. We didn't start working on a relationship
Like I said,
till at least 6-7 years afterward.
After you met?
After we met.
Okay, so then you started a relationship.
Then we started a relationship.
But I thought we
But
were
she
in one.
already knew California. I
were
stay
in
in
one.
California, I stay in Chicago, I stay in Ohio, in Cincinnati. So
likes-
she already knows.
Okay, wait a minute, and you have girlfriends in all these places?
I have companions, yes.
And you have companions in all these places?
Yes.
But
Did you accept during that time that she was carrying your child?
Yes, I accepted it, but I wasn't for sure it was mine.
he don't want responsibilities.
Responsibility. I'm the one to take
You
care of
you
that.
accepted it, but you had...
When I'm down there,
You don't
only
take
time I don't take, like this, only time I don't take care of her when we're not together.
You don't take care of a child
First
only
of all,
if they're
we're
with
not
the
even
mother.
sure that the child is mine. I'm just doing the job. I'm just doing my job as a
And Your
man.
Honor, when-
Oh, your
Responsible.
point is if I'm gonna be in a relationship with you, I'm gonna take care of
Accept
your
you
children
what
and your
comes with
children.
it, the whole package,
Honor,
exactly.
when-
But this child, you say you have doubt.
Yes.
All right, Miss Marsh, what would you like to add?
Your Honor, when we were together, he didn't even take care of her.
Wow.
My
Who
son
pay your
bought her
bills?
clothes.
Every time a bill due, he would leave and go to Chicago.
No, and I'm a witness to this. I'm a witness to
Like,
this.
I'll be like, oh
I'm a
my gosh, what
witness
am I
to
going to
this.
do?
Your Honor,
He
but
like,
every
them
time
are
you
your
got
bills.
paid,
Your Honor, but
he
they just said I
disappeared.
threw the baby a
Or
party,
start a
so
fight, or
I threw him
argue.
$2 grand.
Be
But
gone.
that
Really?
was a whole year ago.
All right, one at a time. So at the point you inform him you are pregnant, what happens? Like, does he support you through this pregnancy? Was he at the hospital for Tamari's birth?
No. He got back with the girl that was in Missouri. At the end of their relationship, I guess she was stalking my Facebook. So she screenshotted him a picture of Tamari, and he wrote me on Facebook, like, I want to see my daughter.
He
Did
sure
you send that message?
Yep.
Yeah, I wrote on Facebook and said I wanted to see her.
Your daughter.
He said, my daughter. And at this time...
All right, so what's interesting is that the court also uncovered this on Facebook.
Yeah, that was like...
Someone posted a picture of the baby.
Exactly.
And said, congratulations on your new baby. And Mr. Reed, you responded...
Don't be too quick to say it.
But
Because that's how I felt.
But wrote
I don't
me
know
that
for
same
sure.
day.
So what is your doubt exactly? Because you have not testified to
Because
this.
every time she get angry with me, the first thing she do is say, you're not the father. This other
And I don't
gentleman is
blame
the father that she was sleeping with. That's my doubt.
Ms. Marsh, when you're angry with him, do you tell him this is not his baby?
Because he's always trying to do something.
But that's yes.
Question. Yes
But that is yes.
And it only happened once that I told him
3
that.
times.
It
You
never
just told me
happened
this
3
last
times.
time.
Women just don't seem to understand. That's a bell you can't unring. If you looked at him and said, this is not your child, in an argument, there's gonna be doubt there.
But
That's
Your
just
Honor,
the way it goes.
But Your Honor, I never asked him or the guy that I had a one night with. And I ended up being in a relationship with the other guy. I never asked neither one of them for nothing.
Did you inform both of them
Yes,
that they were both potentially the father?
Yes, I did, but the conception date matched up to Mr. Reed.
Let me grab my conception calculator. Tell me, when was Tamari born?
April 15th.
All right, April 15th, 2016. If we hit calculate, the conception date would be July 18th to July 23rd, 2015. You're saying you were not with this other guy until when?
August 1st.
Until August 1st.
Quick, huh? Move on fast.
Well, at that time, Mr. Reed was doing so much with all these different women that I went out with my best friend, and one thing led to another. We always liked each other, and it happened, and I let him know.
So you told him, look, there was another guy, it was a situation, but I assure you, you are
They started
Tamari's
stalking each
biological...
Another guy.
Your Honor, I ain't
Yeah.
never stalked another man in my life.
Yes.
So Tamari is 1 year old.
Yes.
How much of a relationship have you had with her, Mr. Reed?
Well, I stayed with Miss Marsh for the last, 7 months?
So now you back
and
staying with her.
No, I left.
I made you leave.
Whatever, she made me leave, it don't make no difference. I'm not there no more.
So she knows you as daddy.
Yes.
So wait a minute, does Tamari recognize him
she
as her
says,
dad?
"Hi, Dad," every time she see him.
Because he was good with her.
And why would you go stay over there 7 months? And you didn't know?
Because I was trying to do the right thing.
But if you really believe somebody's trying to trap you, you don't walk right on up into the trap.
Exactly.
Really?
So now, Ms. Marsh, what if for some reason he is not Tamari's biological father?
It would hurt, but I know that's his daughter. Like, my baby she's light-skinned, but she looked just like him.
And you believe this is her biological father. I have the answers for you.
Okay.
I'm ready for him.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Marsh versus Reed, when it comes to 1-year-old Tamari Marsh, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Reed, you are not the father.
Well,
Now I feel like the goofy. I done went through all this, and
that's why you
all
got
the
put in
time
jail.
I'm believing she knew this. I done
believe
flew
so.
all the way down here
Listen.
to look like a goofy, and you should feel.
But no, listen, hold on, Mr. Reed, hold on.
My name.
Hold on now. Now, Mr. Reed, you were perfectly fine when she was one of many. Now you got a problem because you was one of many.
No, I don't have a. I don't have a problem with it.
No. Let me tell you
I don't have a
something.
problem with it at all.
Let me tell you something. It doesn't feel good when the shoe is on the other foot. So obviously, Ms. Marsh, there is someone else.
I know who the father is.
Is it the person that
Yes,
you
it's the
talked about?
person that
Does he
talked
want to be a part of Tamari's life?
Well, he has 10 kids, so.
He has how many?
He has 10 other kids.
So the man has 10 other kids. Okay. Well, all right, this is where we are. You can't undo it now. All right? You can't undo it. This entire situation, it can define you or it can refine you. You got 2 choices.
And I apologize.
She said she apologizes.
I heard her.
And so can you just say, and now what's that about?
I heard her. I'm cool.
I won't address that because the truth is, Mr. Reed, I believe no matter what I say, you're gonna leave out here on a soapbox like somebody did you wrong.
No,
but no. You thought you was weaving a web of wives, but you got a web of lies, and now you got caught up in it. Now, you are not the biological father, but part of this mess you've got to understand as a 40-year-old man you made. Ms. Scott, you claim that you and the defendant, Mr. Holloway, were overjoyed when you gave birth to your twin sons just last month. However, you say those joyous emotions quickly turned to shock when Mr. Holloway then began denying paternity of another one of your children, 1-year-old Jaden. Mr. Holloway, you and your mother say that although you are the father of her newborn twins, you believe Ms. Scott cheated on you, and thus her older son, Jaden, is not your biological child. And the man you believe is the father, Mr. Alexander, has also been tested, and we will hear from him in a moment. But first, Mr. Holloway, why did you suddenly begin to deny Jaden after the birth of your twins?
Because when me and Ms. Scott were in a relationship, she has kept in contact with Mr. Alexander the whole time throughout both pregnancies.
Really?
Throughout her pregnancy the first time, she's contacted him through Facebook, text messages, phone calls, and...
Really? So have you been contacting this man continuously, Ms. Scott?
No, I have not.
And so how did this situation go in your estimation?
Because me and Mr. Alexander, we're just friends. We did, mess around like years ago, and he's been my friend about as long as I've known Mr. Holloway.
Okay.
And around the time that my son Jaden was conceived, I had no contact with him, and we haven't even been in a relationship. He won't even commit to me. He's left me multiple times for other women and committed to them. And I feel like I deserve that too because I had your babies. It is true.
It's not true.
It's not?
Sarah.
Okay,
that's
it is.
That's not true, Jorana. Jorana, that's not true.
All right, so you were sleeping with someone else.
When we fell out, it was like an off and on relationship. But me and Mr. Holloway were never like boyfriend and girlfriend, holding hands, going to the movies, and all that.
But you wanted that commitment.
I did.
Yeah, she did.
Your Honor, that doesn't matter. We were still sleeping together throughout this whole time.
Yeah.
And in order to be in this courtroom today with a question of paternity, you obviously were sleeping with someone else as well.
Not at
Yeah, you was. Yeah, you was. Yes, she was.
Not at the same time I was sleeping with Mr. Holloway. Like I said, he had left me before, and when we weren't talking, like the whole year of 2012, we weren't talking, I did see other people. But around the time that Jaden was conceived, I was not sleeping with Mr. Alexander.
All right, so Mr. Holloway, why are you so convinced that Mr. Alexander is the father of the child?
Because before all this even started, in 2012 of October, from the week of the 22nd of October to the 27th of October, 2012, me and Ms. Scott were together. She admitted to me during that week before that, her and Mr. Alexander have been in communication, hanging out.
Had been intimate.
Had been intimate, yes.
No.
Okay. See?
No.
She admitted to me that she was going around where he was, and they were together at certain times of that year. So when she got pregnant in 2012, I ended up living with her at her grandmother's house and staying with her throughout the whole pregnancy.
Going to every doctor's appointment.
Oh, yeah.
Helped me out with my grandma. Being
So you
loyal.
all were together at this time?
At that time,
At this
yes,
time,
we were.
yes, we were.
Supporting her through the birth?
Yes.
Did you have any idea at that time the close proximity in which you claim she slept with Mr. Alexander?
At that point in time, I didn't have a feeling. I just knew that they had been together before me.
So why did you sign the birth
had no-
certificate then?
Because the friends.
Why did you sign the birth certificate?
Because of the friends. Because she was the one telling the friends about what was going on in her life with this guy. And then when the friend decided she wanted to tell my son that...
That we hung out
See, same thing.
See, the thing is...
Same thing.
So hold on.
That's not sleeping together and hanging out is two different things.
So she told her friend.
So
She told her friend that she had intimate sex with that guy, and the friend is the one she had to like wait until.
She said that's not what happened.
Well, you the one told her.
No, I didn't
You the
tell
one
her that.
told the friend.
So Ms.
I didn't
Neal,
tell her that.
so Ms.
told it.
Neal, it's your testimony that Ms. Scott was telling some of her friends that she was having sex with Mr. Alexander.
Or she was hanging out with him, but the friend waited until.
But you guys
she
just said out that
had to
Okay.
whatever she was
story
drinking or
straight.
whatever. That's when the friend decided to say it. But when I come around, they don't want me to know anything.
That's because you need to stay out of our business.
See, that's
He's a
it.
grown
I'm gonna
man.
be in the business.
He's a grown man,
I'm gonna
though.
be in
But
the
he's
business because
grown.
this is my child.
Yeah, your child is about to be 26 years
So
old.
what
He's
you-
not
what
a
you got to
baby.
do with it?
He's not a baby anymore.
So he's mine, not
Not a
yours.
baby.
So that's the only thing with that. That's why she have a problem like she does now.
Yeah,
this is why nobody
you
don't want to
always
help her.
disrespect me. You
in
never
the
liked
first
me
place.
from day one.
Yeah, I have helped you.
No, you have not.
I
didn't say
have helped you.
I said liked. You ain't never liked me.
whatever. You
talk
ain't
about
never liked
to
me.
Everybody. I sure don't.
Good. I don't care, but you lived in my house.
Yeah, and I said thank you. And after I
No,
left your
that-
house,
no, you didn't.
You're talking about me, saying
Yes,
that my
I'm gonna
son
talk about you and I'm
looks
gonna
like
let you
Hakeem.
know.
You
Yeah,
should
I'm gonna
have.
let
Okay,
you
you should have
know.
said that when I was at your house then.
I was hoping that you two needed to just get that out so we could
Yeah,
get down to the business of uncovering the truth.
Okay, I'm
But
sorry.
I can see there's no
move on.
ending. Mr. Holloway, you were in her life, helping her while she was pregnant and being there
Correct.
during her pregnancy.
Yes, Your Honor.
What about the birth?
Well, at birth, I was there too. So at birth, I signed the paternity acknowledgement because at that point in time, I felt that he was my son. Then, around December 2013, Christmas, she had posted a picture of Jaden. Matter of fact, that same picture,
He looks like me.
she posted
We
that
know that.
picture
That's
on
my
Facebook,
mini-me.
and before I even saw that picture,
rude she
I had
is?
saw Mr. Alexander in 2012, which was the last time I saw him face to face. And when I seen this picture, he looked just like Mr. Alexander. So that's when I began
And
to
I
have
have
doubts.
a picture too, Your Honor, of it that my son texted to me of him with Jaden and asked me to be the judge.
I think another.
Let me see that, ma'am. Jerome, will you please hand me her evidence? Thank you. So you say your son sent you this picture.
Yes, ma'am.
I made that picture on my phone.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
put this picture on your phone, and
it
underneath
to
the
me.
picture of Jaden is a picture of you
my son
on
Arthur.
the left and Mr. Alexander on the right.
Yeah, and I never seen the guy before. I never seen him before.
So, Ms. Neal, who do you think the baby looks like?
I know it don't look like my son.
You look like me.
Right, look like you. There he is. Still looks just like the one that you had up before.
What are your tears for? You just see your baby? What do you feel, Miss Scott?
I just feel like it's not fair, you know?
What's not fair?
You're in his life for a whole year, coming over, spending the night,
But you're wrong.
and now what do you have to say?
I got a whole lot to say because if it's not, I still want to see the baby. You be denying me from it.
How do I do that?
You know exactly how
How do I do that? What,
'Cause
you
you
mad
tell
about the
me.
birthday party? That wasn't my place to invite you. You could have came. Matter of fact, I heard you was on your way. You didn't even show up.
No, I
That's
didn't.
not my place to invite you. And
Why?
me and you weren't
How come
even
it's
on
not your place? You the
me
mother?
And you weren't even speaking at the time.
See what I'm saying? That's exactly
So
right.
now,
Yeah.
We weren't even
Listen.
speaking. He
Yeah.
could have invited his mom.
explain to me what's going on. There was a birthday party.
Yeah.
What happened, Miss Neal?
She sent it out on Facebook to everybody. Any other time, Your Honor, she'll call me
An invitation to what?
to the baby's first birthday.
Yeah, but me
Was
and her,
posted on Facebook.
Yes.
But were you invited?
No, ma'am.
No invitation to her.
No, ma'am.
When you didn't get an invitation to the party, why didn't you think they wanted you around? Because
I never said he was gonna
Because
come.
what happened, Your Honor, was the day before his birthday is when her mom had posted something on Facebook, and I commented on it. So they both really was, especially
wasn't the day
her,
before.
They really she wanted to like really beat me up if she'd have seen me.
Because you,
why?
You know, I didn't say I was
Because
gonna beat her up.
Because
I just
of what
feel like
I posted
she's just so
on her
disrespectful. And for her to message
her
my
status.
mom.
What did you post on her mom's status?
Well, I was just telling her mom, it's like, you know, you putting up this about your daughter, but, you know, you being dumb in the process because, you know, your daughter had all this information, you know, to help her, and she didn't even do it. She had it right there in her hands.
You don't know what I
still
do,
didn't do
'cause I don't
nothing
talk
about
to
it,
you. You
and
don't
she
do
still
what I
ain't
do.
doing nothing about it.
You don't know
All
what
the
I do.
information to help her.
Yes.
Basically,
So she can get her own place to be with these kids.
my mother and
Okay.
friends are trying to help her to get her life straight, to get a place.
So this has nothing to do with Jaden's paternity.
Thank you.
This is another issue that you all were dealing with.
that
Well,
was
this was
between
to
them.
help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So ultimately, you weren't invited to the birthday party. So once you weren't invited to the birthday party, did you feel like, well, that really isn't my grandson because I would have got an invitation?
No, ma'am. I just said, you know, she's been acting like ever since this baby been born, because when I went to the hospital to see the baby, and she telling people in the hospital like he's not finna be passed around like a trophy, because I know that she meant she didn't want me to hold the baby.
Actually, I meant, did you see how many people was there? How many friends I had there? It wasn't even about you. Why you make this about you? It's about Jaden.
It ain't about me. It ain't about me.
So quit
It's
talking
always
about
been about
yourself.
Jaden.
Anyway,
You the one that know nothing about it. It's
I'm
about
done talking
Jaden.
to you.
Until
I'm
now,
done talking
Your
to
Honor.
you.
She ain't know nothing about it was about Jaden, because if she
It is
did,
about
So
Jaden.
Ms.
would've
Scott,
never
in the
took this-
hospital, Ms. Neal is saying she felt like you didn't want her to hold the baby.
No,
You're
that's
saying
not
that's not
true.
the case.
In the hospital, I had like maybe 10 friends
It
that
wasn't that
came,
many people.
and he was getting passed around, being held. It wasn't her. She left that day. She came the next day. So what are you talking about?
Yeah,
She was
I
there
was
that
there
day.
because
She
I
was
took
there.
sick, and
She
then I
left before I
because
even gave
She
birth.
wasn't even. She hadn't even gave birth then.
So hold on. So the bottom line is, your point was, it's not that I don't want you to hold the baby. It's because it's a new
I said
baby.
that about all my friends.
Yeah, it's a new baby. I just don't want them to pass the baby around. There could be germs.
And
That's
I
what
just
you
feel
meant.
like, why are you saying that here? You
Okay,
never
but the
mentioned
bottom
that.
line is they were present during this birth.
Arthur was.
He was.
You were there.
Cut the cord, but I wasn't, because I
And you
took
signed the
sick.
acknowledgement of paternity.
Yes, I did.
So now you think you've had a baby,
Yes.
a beautiful baby boy.
Yes.
At what point does the doubt set in?
The doubt set in when I saw this picture, and I know for a fact that Miss Scott and Mr. Alexander keep in contact. They've kept in
We are
contact.
friends. That's like one of my best friends.
That they had a
While
sexual
I was
relationship
pregnant-
with, though.
While I was pregnant, no, I haven't. That was years ago.
This is not years
and
ago,
while
Your
I was
Honor.
pregnant with Jaden, he had like offered to even buy my son some shoes. Just being a friend.
You're right.
He's not trying to take charge and be his daddy.
Right. But if this was one of
So-
my female friends, it'd have been my girlfriend trying to do this, in her words.
So, Mr. Holloway, you think
Well, you
the
left me
baby,
before.
you think the baby looks just like Mr. Alexander?
Just like Mr. Alexander.
All right. Well, I'm ready to meet Mr. Alexander. Jerome,
Oh, that's right.
can you bring him in, please?
Oh, that's right.
What's your step?
Hello, sir.
How you doing?
Thank you for joining us today. So, Mr. Alexander, you realize we're here discussing the issues that relate to Jaden's paternity.
Right.
Now, let me just start off by saying this. You have been in a sexual relationship before with Miss Scott.
Right.
You have.
Yeah.
And she admits to that as well.
Right.
Now, do you think Jaden looks like you?
No.
You don't?
No. I think he looks like her.
You think he looks like his mom?
Looks like his mom.
But nothing like you.
No.
And so why don't you believe you could be Jaden's father?
Because the last time we had sex was like 2009, 2010.
Oh, come on. Come on, guy.
That's definitely outside the window of conception. But Mr. Holloway,
You need to get to tell me.
you did not blink an eye when he said that. You don't believe that?
I don't believe that. They've kept in contact since her first pregnancy when she was pregnant with Jaden. They've been talking the whole
Okay,
time.
we talked a
all the
couple
way,
times,
all the
so
way until
what?
now. But when I ask her, are you talking to him? She denies that.
Actually, I told you.
You only told me about a couple times.
Okay, but you act like we're just buddy kicking it, going to the movies, going out to eat.
When I asked you, you deny it. You say you don't talk to him at all. You're not even friends on Facebook. But I go on your friends list. But I go on your friends list. You guys are friends, though.
We're not friends on Facebook.
You just deleted him before you left my mom's house off Facebook, though. You were friends with him
So
then?
hold on. Mr. Alexander, I need to be clear of something. Were you in Miss Scott's life at all during the window of conception? Were you friends, hanging out, as she says?
No.
I
hadn't talked to her in like 2.5 years.
So you weren't even around?
No.
And so you're saying Mr. Alexander couldn't be the father, but you did say you were dating other people.
But not around the time of conception, though.
Whew. All right, well, the only way we're gonna find out the truth is to go to the results. Jerome, I'm ready for the envelope. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Scott versus Holloway Alexander, as it pertains to whether Mr. Alexander or Mr. Holloway is the father of 1-year-old Jaden Holloway, Mr. Alexander, you are not his father. Yes. Mr. Holloway, you are his father.
Yes. Yes. So good.
Thank you.
She's gonna keep denying me. And I don't like it. And I know she's gonna keep it because she's so hateful and mean.
Mrs. Johnson, you are here today on the verge of divorce because you claim your husband of 7 years is forcing you to choose him over your 12-year-old son, Elijah. You state that you have separated multiple times over the past 5 years of your marriage. You have petitioned the court to order Mr. Johnson into family counseling because you say if he will not agree, you plan to divorce him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Johnson, you admit that your marriage is at its breaking point, but you argue that it's because your wife undermines your authority and allows her 12-year-old son to disrespect you.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim you were on the street since you were 14 years old, and you fear your stepson is on the same track.
Absolutely.
You are countersuing Mrs. Johnson, asking the court to order her to take anger management classes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mrs. Johnson, let me start with you. How does Mr. Johnson treat your kids?
He shows blatant favoritism. I'm angry. I just want my kids to feel equal. I want my oldest son to feel
When you say he shows
loved.
favoritism, explain to the court how.
Okay, for an example, I put my kids in baseball. He would participate in our son Ethan's, and he would never participate in Elijah's.
That's not true
That
at all.
photo right there was Elijah's birthday, and I took him to the go-karts, and he was supposed to meet us after work and didn't even show up. My son was so upset. He sat there and cried because nobody came to his birthday party.
He wasn't upset that I didn't come. He was upset that his cousins didn't come from Florida. It had nothing to do with me. His cousins in Florida that he doesn't see a lot, that's where it was at.
Give me more specific stories of how you feel he treats the children differently.
We went on a trip to Gatlinburg. It was just the 4 of us, and we had a great trip. And then it all just kind of dwindled down. My son, we took like a safari ride, and he said, oh, well, me and Ethan will ride on this one, and you and Elijah can ride on that. And it just hurts my son's feelings because he never shows that extra step to where...
She doesn't enforce me as a father figure. She doesn't...
I shouldn't have
I'm the
to
father
because
that's
he's
there.
been in his life since he was 2 years old, and he should take that extra step on his own.
If I've been there this long,
and you see
why not respect me
noticeable
for it?
differences on a day-to-day basis as to how he treats both boys.
Yes, I do. He doesn't take an extra step in, like, as far as going to the PTA meetings or...
Did I, in the beginning?
Yeah, in the beginning, but things have changed. And you can't expect different results when you're not willing to make a change.
He undermines me at home.
He's
what is he
12,
going to do
you're
there?
33.
Exactly, discipline your son.
Now, Mrs. Johnson, in your statement to the court, you said your son asked you, Mom, why can't I have a dad too?
Yes.
He does have a dad. I'm there for him. I potty trained him. I've taught him how to ride bikes. I play video games with him. I've tried
this was
so many times. It was years ago.
Mr. Johnson, but do you show favoritism? Do you?
No, I
to
don't.
your
Yes, he
biological
does.
child?
I don't
He
show
does. He
favoritism,
will go
no.
in our son's room that we have together, and he will go
He's
in
my
there and play
son.
video
I'm not
games
gonna be
with them.
disrespected
At one point in
and then
time,
deal with it.
I
Why
would
not
go to
discipline
work, and
children?
I would work nights, and they would have like movie night and all this other fun
And
stuff.
you would lay out
and then
rules
it
for him to do, and he never does them.
He put it to a stop. My son refuses to come home when me and Mr. Johnson are together. I have a letter from my son right here. I'll read it.
All right.
My name is Elijah. I'm 12 years old. I don't want my mom and Jason to be together anymore. I don't like Jason at all. I don't like being around him. I don't ever want to see him again. He hurts my feelings because he does stuff with my brother and don't want to do stuff with me.
Why? I don't
Jerome,
care. That
please
doesn't mean
hand me
nothing to
that letter.
There's so many different points
Mr.
of view.
Johnson, I have to ask you, do you have any idea why Elijah would feel this way?
Elijah is disrespectful to me, to
Yeah, but
her,
he's
to
disrespectful.
everyone.
It's
To
because
everyone.
me and
When you
Mr.
say he's
Johnson have
disrespectful,
all
He's disrespectful to
relationships.
First, give
everyone.
me
He
some
takes-
specifics. What do you mean?
She told him, we got a new place together. I started to remodel the entire place. She told him specifically to clean up after himself. He is 12 years old. I cleaned the entire house. 5 minutes later, he destroyed it. There's food everywhere. I asked him, pick up after yourself. I shouldn't have to do it. You're 12 years old. He told me, you do it. You'll have to deal with her when she gets home. He knows I can't have that house like that because then me and her are going to fight over a dirty house. And I'm not going to fight over a dirty house. You know what happened? I cleaned it.
So now, Mrs. Johnson, let me ask you, are you undermining his authority?
Absolutely.
Does Elijah feel like
No,
he
I'm
doesn't
not.
have to listen
He
to
knows
I
he
feel
don't.
like I have
He
to
knows he
choose
don't.
between my son
I don't make her choose.
and
If
my
she choose,
husband.
I'd leave her over
I
that.
feel like that. I do, because when I do
And why
go
you
to
been here
work,
10 years?
I have to take my son to my father's house. My son is not my father's responsibility.
Well, I'm sorry. You don't discipline him. When
Listen.
he does those things, do you think he gets grounded? No, she'll go buy him a video game,
Listen,
a phone,
this is
an iPod.
concerning to me because when I hear a 12-year-old child, to say they don't want their parents to be together anymore and that he doesn't like his stepfather
That's
at all.
because all we do is
Well, it's awfully
argue.
funny,
and
the
he's
day before-
tired
He's
of it.
gone.
The day before I left, he didn't say
This
that.
court is about empowering families, helping them understand how to be better families and respect one another.
Exactly. He knows I'm not his
And
father.
I hear you, Mr. Johnson. What I'm trying to get at
He doesn't
is
respect
whether
him.
you respect
So
Elijah.
it ain't just me, though. He disrespects everybody. He disrespects his brother. He disrespects me, his mother. He talks back. She fights with him constantly over the simplest things. Clean your room. Listen, don't talk back. It's always an argument. Take the dog out. Feed the dog. Whatever it is, he cannot do it. He cannot be disciplined. She won't discipline him. And instead of disciplining him, she babies him.
Okay.
Okay? And when me and him were left alone, with me, him, and my other son, and they're fighting for about 2 hours straight, nonstop. She comes home, I tell her what happened, I tell her that they're not listening, and instead of disciplining the kids, she fights with me.
He's the one acting like he's 12 too.
I'm
And
trying
I
to teach him to
don't
be a
always
man. I'm trying to
reward
teach
him.
this boy to be
I
a man.
don't
How
always reward him.
specifically are you trying to teach him to be a man?
If he's 12 years old, can he pick up after himself? Can he listen to his mom? Can he respect his
So
elders?
learning how to do chores, clean up after
Respect?
himself.
Respect?
Yeah, but you
Do you
gotta
think
give
he respects
respect.
his
I did
mother?
give respect for many, many years. I get told, oh, you don't go to his baseball games. He hates me.
So now you two are separated because of this.
Right
Yep.
now.
I mean, I love Jason with all my heart. I do. And I would love for, us to work and to be a happy family.
We don't
but
see eye
at
to
the
eye.
point it's at right now, I just don't know if that's ever going to happen because so much has happened, so many
How do you want me to be a father but
being
not do fatherly
disrespectful
things?
and
Ms. Johnson, you've brought a witness today. Could you please stand up, sir? State your name for the court.
Rick A. Marsh, Courtney's
Mr.
father.
Marsh, thank you so much for joining us today. Please talk to the court about what you've witnessed and what your understanding is in terms of the favoritism or Elijah's disrespect, as Mr. Johnson has put it, to him and all people.
Everybody.
I see Elijah being left out on a lot of things.
Left out of what?
Father, son, ice cream. You ask Ethan to pick up your room. It's like, would you pick up your room? What's wrong with you? Why don't?
So why aren't we here for the way you talk to Ethan?
Talk to him like a human being, not like an animal that did something wrong.
Doesn't that go for
You're
both?
his grandfather.
Doesn't that go for both kids, though? Wouldn't that go for both children, not just Elijah? Like what Ethan, my son, he does the same thing. He babies Elijah. Oh, it'll be okay.
You shouldn't yell at Ethan
it'll
either
be
like
okay.
that.
You yell at him. Your daughter will admit it.
So now you're saying that Mr. Marsh yells at...
He's way more aggressive with Ethan than he is with Elijah. With Elijah, it's okay, pat him
Do
on
you
the
think
head.
he's
Yeah, but I think a big part
overcompensating
of that
for
is
Elijah because he feels
I
like
don't know
you
what
leave
the
him
reason is.
out?
I don't know
Jason
what
is
the
so
reason is.
firm with Ethan that...
I am firm with him. I don't want bad kids. I come from the streets. I don't want to raise kids that are going to wind up there. I don't want to be 15 and say, I'm going to go pick them streets instead of my mom and dad. I did that. It didn't work.
So your fear is, if I don't keep a tight rein on these boys...
They're going to walk. They're not going to go to school. They're not going to get an education. They're not going to respect you, him, me, nobody.
So it is your purpose in life as the father in the house to give them that discipline. You're saying you're molding them. You're giving them
discipline. He's showing them when he's not working a steady job, when he, the thing about
no
it is
education
that
and I do
Jason
work.
sits there and one of our biggest arguments is financial problems. Yeah. And he's like, I help you and it's 50-50 with both of us, but it's not. Jason pays half of the bills and that's about it. Every once in a while,
A lot of men out here
his
ain't doing
mom
that.
helps more with the kids than he does as far as getting school clothes and stuff like that.
So you're saying he needs to focus less on molding the children and more on providing.
Both. No, exactly. I think it needs to be both. He needs to do
Mr.
it
Marsh,
all the
I
way
want to
around.
ask you, what do you think should happen in this relationship? You've witnessed this. You see the relationships they have with the children and the climate in their marriage. What do you think should happen here?
I think they should finalize and get a divorce. I think that would be the best.
You really feel like there's no saving the marriage?
I feel like that's contradicting, though.
No, I don't feel like there is. From what I've seen over the years, no. He don't keep a job. If he does get a job, he loses it. And Elijah, it's going to take a lot for those two to get the respect for one another.
And you don't feel like he's setting a good example for your grandson?
No, he's not setting
He ain't in the home. He don't know what I do.
We lived with my dad from February till July. We lived with my father, and so he does have a good intake of
She
what
needs
we
anger
went
management.
through.
She can't handle them kids. But
I
she
do.
can
All
yell.
right, anger
Thank you so much, Mr. Marsh, for your testimony. It
I'll
was
be the
enlightening.
first
You may
one.
have a seat.
I do need anger
I'd like to
management.
now.
I am angry and I'm upset and I just feel like I'm just
Can't nobody
ready to
handle him.
explode
He called me himself.
because it's with my whole family situation, though.
He called me himself and couldn't handle him one day. Now, how is it just me?
So you're saying Mr. Marsh called you and said he couldn't handle Elijah?
Absolutely. He called me. We made an agreement for Elijah to go there because we don't get along. He called me and was like, it's just too much for me, too. I can't take it either. Courtney has to work tomorrow. You guys are going to have to figure something out.
Yeah, but my dad also had plans. You know what I'm saying? My dad is retired. My niece was there. She's 11, and my son is 12. He had plans, so they still have to be under some kind of supervision.
You know, I'm a little concerned because I feel like this child is being pushed here or there, everywhere, because no one can handle him or he's so disrespectful. And I'm not saying that children can't be disrespectful. But
my son's number one
most
advocate.
kids around 12 years old are a lot to handle.
He's twice.
That's a really tough age.
He's twice the
I
father.
can
But he's got
remember
special
being
needs,
12
too.
years old.
Does it happen to you when it's just you and him? Does he disrespect
Are you all interviewing each other, or
Well, I
am
wanna
I
get to the
trying to
bottom
figure
of
out
it.
what's going on in the marriage? Because my thing is, all of a sudden you get in here and you want to talk to one another. If you were talking more to one another at home, then you wouldn't be standing right here.
That's our problem.
So now, maybe this is another wonderful thing about paternity court is we allow people to talk to one another even though they're talking over the judge. Continue.
Exactly.
What else do you all want to say to one another?
My mom treats all the kids like they're hers. Elijah's not hers, but she treats them exactly the same. Exactly the same. There's not a Christmas, a birthday,
And me
an
and
event.
his mother have a great relationship.
A great relationship. Why can't...
Outside of Jason.
Well,
You know, if me and Jason aren't getting along or whatever, me and her, we still
quit
talk.
calling.
Granted, sometimes it's a little hard to talk to her when he's there and we are arguing because I feel like it puts her really in the middle.
Okay. Let me move on to the defense witness. Mrs. Phelps Schultz, if you please could stand up. Thank you. You're the defendant's mother.
Yes, I am.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Please enlighten us on what you know about this situation.
Well, there's a lot of disrespect going around altogether. Okay, it's just not coming from one party. It's coming from everybody. You got the whole family involved here. Courtney's a good-hearted person. She tries to please everybody. I mean, she goes out of her way to please me. You know, and I'm just the mother-in-law. But she does that. She's a pleaser. But you got to set limits for your children. You cannot be best friend with the 8, 7, 10-year-old, 12-year-old. You can't be best friends with these guys. You know, a lot of us parents know that. You got to set a boundary. And bless her heart, she does. The correcting part just doesn't come easy for Courtney, which, and Jason feels the authority figure. Elijah's disrespected him so long. I agree with Rick on one thing and one thing only. I don't think it can be fixed between Elijah and Jason unless a third party comes in and does it.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I understand your point. Thank you for that. Thank you very much. You may have a seat.
I've set up for Elijah has been in counseling for years. I feel like when he's around, my 2 boys, they fight even more because he has like this kind of hatred.
So it's my fault they're disrespectful. Ethan's disrespectful too. He's an 8-year-old. He's disrespectful.
Ms. Johnson, that's why you're here. You want the court to order your husband to take parenting classes.
Yes.
What about
I wish that he would do it on his own. I wish that it didn't even have to lead to this.
I wish you would too. You are just as guilty as me in every situation.
So why he's trying to put me out here like I don't do
He's just as disrespectful as Elijah. I'm saying it.
I'm listening to this.
It's
and
crazy.
I am certain
and then we can't stay apart for 2 weeks.
Classes could help you both. And what I'm feeling like is that the issues between the 2 of you in your marriage, some of which are caused by the parenting issues, others, financial issues and such, professional issues, they're all getting clogged together, and ultimately, the children are the ones suffering.
I agree.
And parenting classes will help you learn how to navigate through this.
There's got to be more than that.
Now, you stated to the court, Ms. Johnson, that if Mr. Johnson failed to agree to these parenting courses, that you were going to divorce him.
I was going to petition the divorce, yeah.
Now, Mr. Johnson, having heard what we've heard thus far, will you go? Mr. Johnson, having heard what we've heard thus far, it is this court's opinion and advisement that you both enter parenting classes together. Will you go?
I'll do whatever it takes for my family.
That's great to hear. Let's face it, it's not always an easy job.
No, it's not.
But you all have to get on the same page on the job. I feel like you 2 are on 2 different planes when it comes to parenting. We're not even in the same book. Everyone's parenting styles are different. As for the anger management request, you countersued and petitioned this court to order that Ms. Johnson go to anger management.
Absolutely.
Earlier in your testimony, Ms. Johnson, I remember distinctly hearing you say, I do need anger management because I'm mad all day.
I am.
You remember that?
And I feel like I'm going to explode, and I need to figure some other coping skills or something because I get to the point where I just want to hurt them all.
Yes. And more wives need to be as brave to stand there and say, I might have on my superwoman cape most days, but some days it's choking me, right?
Yeah.
And I need a little help. I need to figure out how to do these things, or I feel like I'm going to explode on everybody.
I do.
So you are consenting to take those anger management courses?
Yeah, yes.
Wonderful. I realized that there was a petition for divorce. We've seen.
Yes.
I'm going to take a risk and just ask, now that we've consented to the anger management and the parenting courses, is it safe to say that we're going to work on this marriage?
Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful. So we won't be needing this, right?
Right.
Fantastic.